When Paradox came along and proposed this to us, it was like a dream come true. And that kind of takes us to now, where we're working on Prison Architect 2, and it's getting close to launch. I think players are ready for a sequel, and we've hit that natural conclusion where bringing the game to 3D is also opening a wealth of new possibilities. We worked on Prison Architect on console for a number of years. When Paradox acquired the license, they were looking for a developer to continue the Prison Architect brand and in the background work on a sequel, and I've been heading up that team and that project as well.
So 3D is a really good thing because it gives us a lot and it challenges us a lot in different ways as well. So some of the things that it gives us is it just looks gorgeous, and we get to do a lot of fun stuff with lighting and a lot with angles, whereas it with top down it's very fixed. You're kind of limited to what you can do.
Prison Architect 2 is an evolution of Prison Architect. It's not a new thing, so we always have to retain the look of the 2D one, but you're bringing it to 3D. The fidelity that we've had to go to bring in the assets and animations and fingers, and I think we got very close. This is some very early concept art that we explored, and with the animations, by adding fingers now they can reload guns, they can manipulate buttons, facial features, the eyes. That has been a big game changer. So here we're exploring cells, how we're taking this one and then we've reconcepted it into 3D. And there's a lot of things going on here again with have roughness and metallic values now, so they react to the light. Early plot building area, it was difficult for us to get the scale. Eventually we scaled them down and pushed them way back. It opens up the environments, creates more vast landscapes, and that's kind of, for me, what it was always about with these worlds.
We really wanted to do something with more production value, but also 3D opens up a number of new gameplay depths, so like multiple floors, being able to actually create prisons like Alcatraz, like for real this time. There was a pitch process, so Paradox would work with us on what they wanted to see. We put our pitch together with some concept art and high-level designs of what we would want to do with the game and what direction we want to take it in. Also, how we would stay true to the original in the art style as well as the spirit.
Code. Mainly code. Design pod, animation, art. We'll not bother with the kitchen, it's very exciting though. We make coffee there. We've got our incredible animators and artists doing some brilliant work, making the game look absolutely phenomenal and amazing. So everybody here in this office works on Prison Architect 2, and we've moved offices a couple of times, but we've moved in here to get everyone closer together so we can collaborate a little bit more closely, which is working really well. I was always working quite closely with the community, and one of the big things that kept coming up from people was, we want multi-floor. And then as soon as that opportunity came up, we knew to make multi-floor work, it's got to be 3D. And then as soon as we got into the green light process, that became really exciting really quickly because we got to work with a lot of these things that people wanted and turn them into something quite brilliant. The challenges though, that one of the very first things we had to do on the project was figure out how the scale of the game translates from the first one to the second. You might not see it on first glance when you're playing the game, when you're playing a prison, but actually the ratio of inmate to walls, for example, is like halved. So the population of the prisons are smaller and the size of the prisons expand to grow that, because it's not just a 2D sprite that can wander over and just sit on a bed. So that was a massive challenge, just getting prisoners to like move from one place to the other at the correct speed, at the right time. It gave us so much more freedom to develop the game, but it also meant there was a lot more questions that we needed answers to, rather than just sitting in 2D.
Tom Cruise lookalike.
This is still my favourite. I think I could have a version of this blown up on my wall at home.
It is amazing, like where I've worked on games where the concept art doesn't look like the game in the end. It's not just, hey, well, let's make Prison Architect 1 in 3D. The deeper reasons for it is to really blow up the potential of the game, like through the construction, through the automation, through the logistics.
It was a challenge for us on one side because Prison Architect was never designed to be multi-floor, so we had to go back and figure out how that was going to work. It meant a lot of things changing with scale. But for the player, they're going to have to manage not just this one big prison that you can see at a glance, plus all these other levels where stuff is going on that you don't know about.
Yeah.
So we do have some iconography to like highlight it, but it means that those players who really enjoy the action part of it, there's a lot more for them to watch because they need to make sure they've got eyes in all of the right places, that they're checking out. There's a lot more challenges for the player now.
I think that's a cool thing where I also felt in Prison Architect 1 that if I was really playing efficiently, the most efficient prison is having everything along the road in a big line because, well, the delivery's there and I don't want to have my canteen at the far side of the prison because it's going to slow things down. Now we've got that extra dimension as well where players kind of have, well, I've got to put my canteen on the top, my kitchen underneath, and then have a stair between them. And that, for me, that's one of the most exciting things, seeing how players will design their prisons with this new dimension, literally, as well as land expansion. Everything makes a bit more sense now. With windows on the wall, I can actually see through them.
Snipers wouldn't have made any sense at all if the floors didn't react to each other and didn't interact.
Yeah, there's a lot of creative possibilities, I think.